Hello and welcome to the studio, and a rather unusual film this week. A while ago I was contacted by musicians Janice and John Doran to ask if I would like to design the artwork for their debut album No More the Green Hills. I was really excited to get involved, and we very much collaborated on how they wanted the design to look and how the print was created. So I hope you'll enjoy watching us work together and me responding to music instead of to photographs and sketches. I had quite a good idea of what you wanted based on the fact that early morning Hillside, was what you really liked. So I was going along with that idea, and I also really like, John, your layout as you did it with the title at the top, that kind of thing. That gave me a really good basis. I mean, I know that might change. So that was like my starting point, and also finding the right bit of wood, of course, is always a
That's great.
So if I show you the wood first, if we could do a bit of a zoom, so it's this below there.
Oh,
But in early morning Hillside, it's one flat plane, and what I quite liked about this is it gives me the potential to have a back hill and a front hill, which again is going to give a bit of depth.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, it'll give something really nice to focus on the hill.
Yeah, exactly. And depending on where I was thinking, because remember, of course, we're looking in reverse because it's a print. So your titles would potentially be up here, so it's quite nice to have that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I love that it uses the grain. Like if you put a waterfall, then it'll follow that grain down.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do with that is I will quite gently wire brush it, and that will lift, it'll get rid of all the softwood and it will leave me those lovely contours. And as for the foreground, as I say, I wanted to keep a feeling of it being quite wild, because I listening to your music, that seems to be appropriate, but I was thinking kind of sheep drovery landscape, the sort of landscape where a person could be, but it's not domestic, it's not like fenced in fields or something. Was kind of my vibe about that. This was my first effort, which had the path very much kind of a part of it, and the mountain was much smaller, and I transferred that. I did a sort of clean tracing of it and just coloured it in to give me an idea. So that is kind of and then I made the mountain bigger because I felt it wasn't balancing. So that was kind of a bit more of a kind of polite landscape, if you like, in that the path is kind of front and central, and it's more of a slightly more domestic. And then I did a version which I'll show you on a slightly bigger scale, and I quite like that the path, again, it's still there, and it would probably show a little bit more and through that bit there on the finished print, but it's a little bit more rugged, and I quite like the idea of kind of this big boulder up here and stuff.
That's great. Yeah, that's brilliant.
So what I quite like the idea was that if I can make it work, is to have the sun hitting through here. So this wouldn't be dark, but it would be more saturated, and then there would be this area of light here, and then the hill. So it wouldn't be sort of super contrasty, but there would definitely be that feeling that beyond this there is the sun slanting across and just catching the hillside.
I really like that last one you showed us.
That's my choice if it came to it.
I like that you have to look for the path. Like it's kind of one of those paths that you could lose if you weren't paying attention.
Because a lot of the songs are kind of about relationships, but they're not. Nothing is cut and dried. So it's kind of everything's up for a little bit of interpretation, and there's a kind of poignancy to it as well. And I quite like that idea, as you say, that the path is not abundantly clear.
We're after wild kind of.
Well, it's sort of, it might
right
be
to
a path,
roam.
or it might be something sheep have created.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're so happy with the shape though. Like it
Yeah.
just, it's so nice having that foreground and the background.
Good.
Not dominating each other. Like I think it's so.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think also we've got to think about the fact that you've got to get your graphics on there, and they've got to look good with it. You know, it's
Yeah. I guess
it's very much about that as well, obviously, because that's kind of important.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the different sort of approaches, different formats.
It's interesting that kind of how it develops, because normally I have maybe photographs and sketches and things, and I'm working more from this is the place. Whereas working with you, it's been very interesting to think this is the music. Yeah. What story is it telling me?
Yeah.
You know? And it was fascinating to do that, and to kind of pull that landscape out of what you sounded like and what the music was like and stuff like that. So that has been quite interesting. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to coming and hearing you play. That's very exciting.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Are you coming to the Scuttlebrook Week?
It's funny, like it's my old hometown, where it is.
Yeah, it'd be nice to like meet you properly, and
it'd be lovely.
Yeah, it'd be great to meet you.
Is everyone having a nice time so far? Is it? Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? I've been trying to. Janice comes from Glasgow, and it's very weird back there in the big city. And I've been trying to convince her that certain things are normal. Like we all sit on hay bales, right? We don't. I've never actually seen anyone use a chair before down here, but everyone sits on hay bales, and everyone Morris dances, don't they? Yeah. Anyway, this is a song called The Black Fox. As we were out hunting one morning in the spring, both hounds and horses running well made the hills and valleys ring. But to our great misfortune, no fox there could be found, and the huntsman cursed and swore, but still no fox moved over the ground. Up spoke the master huntsman, at the head of the hounds rode he. Well, we have ridden the full 3 hours, but no fox have we seen. And there is strength still in me, and I will have my chase. And if only the devil himself come by, we'll run him such a race. And then a band sprang like lightning, a fox from out of his hole, and his fur was the colour of the starless night, and his eyes like burning coal. And we chased him over the valley, and we chased him over the field. We chased him down to the riverbank, but never words he knew. And he's ran down to the water, and he swam to the other side. He's laughed so loud the greenwood shook, then he turned to the huntsman and he cried, "Ride on, the gallant huntsman, when must I come again? Oh, never shall you want a fox to chase a lonely plain. And when your need is greatest, just call upon my name, and I will come, and you shall have the best of sport and game." All the men looked up in wonder, and the hounds ran back to hide. For the fox had changed to the devil himself, where he stood at the other side. Oh,
You're joining me here in the studio just as I am about to fit the wood block together with the lino block, and I'm going to do that by offsetting the outline of one block onto the other.
We gathered our dogs and circled around, for who loves the sport more than the boys of the town? And when we arrived, they were all standing there. We set off for the fields, all in search of their hair. We didn't get far till someone gave a cheer. Over high hills and valleys, that sweet roosted steer. As we flew o'er the hills, 'twas a beautiful sight. There were dogs black and yellow, there were dogs black and white. She took the black bank for to try them once more. It was a last look at the hills of Greenmoor.
The woodblock that I'm using here is using the same registration frame as the lino so that everything is aligned, but it won't go through my printing press, so I have to hand burnish. And a lot of the work in this print is hand burnished, and you'll notice that as we go through the film.
Oh, we heard the last words that sweet roosted say. Oh, no more the green hills, Kilda I'll roam, nor skip through the fields, all in sport or in fun.
The tool I'm using here is a Japanese one. It's called a hangito, and it's usually used for Japanese woodblock cutting, but here it's giving me a nice crisp edge to my block, even though I'll be printing it Western style.
For killing the hare, he's been at his old capers for many's the year. Well, on Saturdays and Sundays he'll never give up, with a pack of strange dogs round the hills of Greenmoor. I'm a fallen weaver, as many a one knows. I've now to eat and I've worn out my clothes. My clogs are both broken and stockings I've none. You'd scarce give me tuppence for all I've got on. Oh Billy, oh Benty kept telling me along, we'd have better days if I held my tongue. Well, I've held my tongue till I near lost.
The wood I'm working with here is an inexpensive student grade Sheena plywood, which still comes with a very beautiful wood grain.
Weaver, as many a one knows. I've now to eat and I've worn out my clothes. Billy's Ori, well, he never were clemmed, and he never picked her in his life. the last. We tarried and shifted till we were quite fast. We lived upon nettles while nettles were good.
This 4-colour rainbow roll is for my very delicate evening sky, and I'm using traditional oil-based ink, and I'm working with a very, very thin layer. And here I'm just ensuring that there's a perfectly smooth layer of ink on the lino.
She had been, she swears she'd fight till there's blood up to thee. I've a fallen weaver, as many one knows. I've now to eat and I've worn out my clothes. Stockings I've none, nor looms to weave on, and I've woven myself.
I'm packing the press up to a high pressure now. You'll see if you watch carefully how the pressure on the press changes and how it's incorporated with hand printing, so that I can vary the pressure according to the results that I want.
Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. They've shipped him far away foreign, with Nelson all on the salt sea. Oh, the weary
Just using a thin plastic mask here, just to stop any stray ink from getting onto the print.
Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. They always come in the night, they never come in the day. They always come in night and they steal the laddies away.
I like to feel my way with my hands when I'm printing wood grain. I think it gives you a very nice effect.
Oh, the weary cutters and oh, the weary sea. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. When I look to the north, I look where the watery eye. But when I look to the south, I see the laddies go by. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. Oh, the weary cutters, they've taken my laddie from me. I'll give the cutter a guinea, I can't give the cutter no more. I'll give the cutter a guinea to steal my laddie ashore.
Paper I'm working with here is a very thin, lightweight washi paper from Japan, and it has a very shiny, almost polished side, and the other side is quite rough, and I'm using the very smooth side. And because the paper is so responsive, I'm able to get a very good result with a combination of press and hand burnishing. This fine work is my favourite sort of cutting, And you'll notice that I'm wearing an Optivisor magnifying headband thing, and I find that and a bright light really helpful.
Johnny, my man, do you not think o' rising? The night as we'll spend and the times waiting on. Your cellars all din and your step tomb before you. Arise up, my Johnny, and come away. What is the tie here speaking say kindly? Oh, I ken it's the voice of my own wife Jane, saying come by me dearie and sit down beside me. There's room in this tavern for mair than but Johnny, my man, her bairns is all greeting. They meal in the barrel to fill their wee whims. While sitting here drinking, you leave me lamenting. Arise up, my Johnny, and come away.
Here I'm just painting a little bit with two rollers with slightly different colours, just to bring some emphasis to areas where I want them to be a little darker. So effectively I'm painting the roller, painting the lino each time that I take a print.
And the times waiting on. Your cellars all din and your step tomb before you. Arise up, my Johnny, and come away. Johnny, he's raised and he's got the door open, saying cursed be the tavern that e'er let me in, and cursed be the whiskey that makes me so thirsty. Farewell to your whiskey for all water. Oh, the last that I loved first of all was handsome, young and fair. We had I spent some merry nights way on the banks of Ayr. We had I spent some merry nights way on we Barney Rose.
Here I'm fixing the registration. I've improvised my registration device a little using cardboard, as this is an unusual format for me to print.
We loved each other dearly, and disputes we seldom had, as constant as the pendulum her heart beat on.
And this final layer is a black outline around the foreground objects. And I am being very careful not to overdo this. So when I'm printing it, I'm using hand pressure and I'm varying that pressure so there isn't a uniform black line around everything in the foreground. It comes and goes. and that helps it to balance against the wood grain in the background while not dominating the print.
You'll dearly pay for every cent to the barbers for perfume, but rural joy is free to all where scented clover grows, while the echo mocks the corn among the winning knives. Oh, the corncrake he is new, the burnies to the brim, the winning hours are close.